Hey guys, I'm Erin from Southern Girl Exotics over here in South Carolina. Welcome to my channel. So this is my first YouTube video. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. I am very new to this, so for me, making content and being flamboyant and somebody that other people want to watch, I don't know if I can hit that mark. However, I'm not completely drab, I'm not completely boring, and I have a little bit of offer to the community, so hopefully there's enough people out there that find it worth watching. If nothing else, it'll be a learning experience for myself as well as the few people that may want to watch. But anyways, I figured for this first video, I would just tell you guys a little bit about myself, a little bit about my business, and then do a reptile room tour for you. I obviously can't show you every animal I have. However, I can focus on some of my favorites as well as what I do breed. And then of course, I'll show you some of just our pets, our dogs, cats, rabbits, and then the reptiles that we keep just as pets that I don't breed. So a little bit about me. My name's Erin. Again, I'm in South Carolina. I've been working with reptiles for the last 8 years. I've been breeding for 5 of those. I started out breeding African fat tails. When I started breeding, I didn't even know how to accurately do a Punnett square. So I was definitely in no position to start breeding. I had no business breeding these animals with the lack of education where I started. Luckily, there was some great people out there that kind of helped me work through it. And then of course that kind of inspired a passion. And then as my love for different species grew, so did my desire to breed different species. So even though now African fat tails, I don't breed on a large scale like I first started, I have still a few projects going. I am breeding gargoyle geckos, crested geckos, leachianus geckos. I am going to be moving into some Europlatus species, as well as some knobtail species. So I've got some exciting projects upcoming, and I'm just in a really good place right now with my business. You know, in the last 3 years, I've really amped it up where I've amassed some incredible animals with great lineage, great genetics, and now I am reproducing animals with great genetics and great lineages. So I am in a really good place. I just need to take advantage of the current market and how slow it is and the free time that it has given a lot of us sellers and breeders to start working on building my social media. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. I'm always game to have discussions about any topic that the video is on or any future videos you might want to be done. As long as you're not a douchebag in the comments, I will always try to read them and respond and be receptive and be humble, and take whatever criticism or suggestions you have, internalize that, and fix whatever may need to be fixed. Again, sometimes we don't have to always agree. What may work for you doesn't have to work for me, and that's okay too. But again, as long as you're not a douchebag, I don't care what kind of criticism you're given, I'm totally open to hearing it. But I do want this channel to be kind, I do want it to be educational, and I do want it to be fun. I don't want it to be hate, I don't want it to be pitchforks and attacking and calling people out and who's the better reptile keeper. I just don't want that mess on this channel. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a more positive experience for both myself and for whoever's watching, engaging, or on the channel. So again, enjoy. If you do enjoy the video, please like, please share. Oh, we don't share here, do we? Do we subscribe? We subscribe here. So like and subscribe. And again, if you want to comment, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so we're just going to go around the room starting on this side. I'm going to start with my bearded dragons and my blue-tongued skinks cage, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. Over here we have our blue-tongued skink and our bearded dragon cages. This right here is Kiki's cage. Hey Kikers, can you say hello? We've had Kiki for a very long time. She's a Indonesian blue-tongued skink, not the Australian, and she is quite grumpy, but after all these years she tolerates me pretty well. But they're very smart and very cool animals. Down here is Alice's cage, one of our bearded dragons. She's kind of turned into a free roam dragon, so she is probably over here, hanging out. Hey, Allie. Allie is probably an Allen. We've had her about 8-9 years. Long time. She's a sweet, sweet girl, though. Huh. And right here we have the most sweetest little bonbons in the whole world. This is Larry Bonbons. I call him Angry Larry because he's always got an angry face. But he's really a happy bunny and super sweet. Here we have our Europlatus fimbriatus cage. One of the females is in here. This is the one that I did and I posted to my Facebook to show how I created it. I really love this cage, and it is a 36 by 24, I believe. So it's got a lot of space. However, fimbriatus get really big, so I am probably going to have to upgrade not too far future. But these animals are so cool. I love Europlatus. I love all Europlatus. However, they're incredibly sensitive. Sadly, I've had a lot die years before. Now I do not get wild caught at all. If it's not captive bred and it's Europlatus, I am not getting it. They are just so finicky and so sensitive, but they are an amazing species to experience and keep, and they are so cool looking. Down here is our Sulawesi water skinks tank. This is Ursula. And then over here we have our other Europlatus species, the Silkeray. This is one of our females. These guys are really, really beautiful, and they're so, so cool. Such a cool species. These guys look even more like tree bark than fimbriatus do. We do have some leopard geckos. This right here is Raisin. Leopard geckos are so derpy, and Raisin is no exception. All right, excuse all this. These are baby bins that are about to be cleaned. However, down here is where I keep most of my African fat tails. Like I mentioned in the introduction, I don't breed a ton of them. I only work with a few traits, so I don't need a lot of racks for them. I don't intend to mass produce these guys. However, I love this species, and so I will definitely, it will be another one that I will probably always breed a few genes with it, because I think they are so underrated. I think this is a species that deserves to be recognized in our hobby and available for people. This is Prima. She's an Oreo Zulu whiteout, and she was at one time the most expensive gecko I ever bought. And she's such a sweet girl. This is Carmelo. He's one of our males. And then my absolute favorite morph, as simple as it is the A-male. I didn't produce this guy. This guy actually came from Seth at Huff's Herps. And this is Nibbles, our knobtail gecko. He is the Wheeleri subspecies. These guys are so sweet. The other ones can be quite hissy and moody, but this guy is so, so sweet. And look at that face. So over here are a few of our lychee enclosures, and I'm excited to show these guys to you because I have some really beautiful ones. Lychees are one species that I am super intimidated by. I had my first one for over 4 years now, and after the first year I could not handle her at all. It is still, when I have to clean her cage, when I had to upgrade her, everything has been a hassle because she just is so crazy. Not all lychees are like that, but GTs especially can be known for their a little bit of attitude, and lychees give a pretty serious bite. I know there's people out there, they're like, oh, I got big balls and I'm not afraid. Well, I am. I don't want to take a bite. I'm not going to put myself in a position just to take a bite so that I can prove how cool or how experienced I am. I think it takes a lot more experience and respect for an animal to know its behaviors and know that it's probably not one you want to handle without gloves or handle at all if it doesn't need to be handled. However, there is something really unique and interesting about lychees. Their texture, they're so velvety. Their size, part of the part that is so intimidating, is also what's so cool about them. They're really an amazing species. So I'm really grateful that I decided to get more, because the ones that do let me handle them, I so enjoy being able to experience this species. So cool. Anyway, so I'm excited to show you guys. I think you guys are going to love these animals. So this is Dejin. He was produced at Jeremy at SP Reptiles. He's a runner. And this is Medusa. She was produced by James at Mount Olympus Gecko. So far she's stayed pretty sweet too, but she's a beautiful, beautiful animal. And this is one of my smaller ones, little Monsuta. He is a Mount Caugus Troger, I believe. But he's starting to get some beautiful, beautiful pinks. And he's still small enough that he's really, really sweet. The oh so famous bitch face. Stop being mean. Don't you be mean. Why are you so mean? Why'd you poop all over the glass? There's poop everywhere. I should be mean, not you. I gotta clean up your doo-doos. You're so mean. Alright guys, so right here behind me, this is where I keep a lot of my crested gecko and gargoyle gecko grow-outs. I love crested geckos. I started out with crested geckos, breeding them before I bred any other New Caledonian gecko, and I'm glad that I started with them because it was such a good and positive learning experience. These guys are really easy to reproduce. However, you also don't have to worry about the aggression and a lot of the trauma that can happen from other species that breed. So it makes it a really comfortable and smooth learning experience when it comes to breeding these guys. They are such fun pets. They have amazing personalities. They're derpy. They're just a lot of fun to keep and especially breed. And there's some traits out there that are some of my absolute favorites on the market, like lily white. I don't care what the market says or where it's going to be standing in 10 years on the lily white gene. I love that gene. I think it enhances and makes everything look incredible. However, I'm not a big fan of the crested gecko community and how they treat each other, so it's kind of killed a lot of my excitement to breed the species. So I have kind of backed away and I've kind of narrowed down my projects, so I don't have a ton going anymore, but you don't need a lot of crested geckos breeding in order to have a productive season. You can have 5 pairs going and have 40 eggs. So you don't need a lot going. However, I've just kind of really backed up. I sold a lot of my breeders the last few years just so I could more focus on my gargs and some of my other species. But I will never fully get rid of crested geckos. They are such an amazing species. And like I said, there are some traits that I love, and I love working with them, and I think they should always be available on the market. So as far as where I stand with breeding them, I will probably always breed at least the lily whites and a few other traits. So I'm super excited to show you guys my favorite animals that I have produced, as well as the ones that I currently have breeding that are some of my favorite for this year. Hope you enjoy. First up is all white everything. I produced this boy 2 years ago. It has taken him forever to grow. He was a little runt egg, and he's absolutely incredible. Next up as a favorite is Apple Bottom. I produced this girl last year. I love red lilies. I'll actually have to include a picture of her outside so you can see her real color, because this video camera. This is one of my red porthole girls that I produced, and she's another holdback that is absolutely beautiful. Again, the camera just washes out her red color, but she's got this dark pink red color, and she's got a good bit of portholes, so she'll be great in future project. This boy is another one I held back for my porthole project. and he's probably my favorite holdback. And of course, I have saved the best for last. If you follow me on any social media platform, then you already know gargoyle geckos are my thing. That is my niche in the hobby. I love gargoyle geckos. I think gargoyle geckos, people that don't keep them and they just keep crested geckos, they're just not familiar with them, so they think that they might be more aggressive, mainly because probably of the breeding risk and things like that with them and their breeding behaviors. But they are amazing pets. They are, in my opinion, more tolerant to handling than crested geckos. They're not as spastic when you handle them. They get a good girthy size on them, so they're fun to handle. And they, for displays, like most new cows hide. Lots of gargoyle geckos tend to perch out in the open if you have a little bit of greenery on your perches, so they make incredible display pets. Not to mention their colors. Oh my god, I love gargoyle geckos' colors. Reds, red bases, red stripes and blotches, oranges, yellows. Everything on them is so vibrant and defined. It's just, they're amazing. They've got their little horns and their big sticky outy ears. Gargoyle geckos are just incredible. If you are not in the gargoyle gecko game yet and you don't own one, you are missing out. Either way, I am super excited to show you guys my most insane obsession, which is gargoyle geckos, and some of my favorites that I have here. Now let's take a look. This is one of my red blotch females that's breeding this year. She was produced at Brian over at Sundown Reps, and she has grown into a beautiful animal. This is the male she's paired to, Ruin. He was produced by Kelly over at Eclipse Exotics. I wish he was fired up so you could see how gorgeous he is fired up. But this is his first year breeding too. Beautiful, beautiful boy. So these all right here are brand new cages. I just got these from Gecko Junkie. I am about to put in an order for about 9 more quads. But as of right now, I have been using them for any of my female gargs that are done with breeding. They're 18 by 12 by 18s, so they're much better than the 12 by 12 by 18s or that a lot of breeders use, especially for adults. And they're not as massive as an 18 by 18 by 24 that you would need if you were going to have pairs and trios in it. So these give them a nice, cozy, yet spacious environment so that they can fatten up and they can recover from each breeding season. But I love these PVC enclosures, and I'm super excited to show you some of my absolute favorite female gargs. This is Saffron. She was produced at Birdie's Gecko-Oils. I actually picked her up from Brian at Koalas, but she is a stunning red base. Beautiful, beautiful girl. And this right here is Wreckage. She was produced by Gargoyle Gecko Queen. This was her first year, and some of her babies are my absolute favorite that have hatched this year. She was paired with a stripe this year, so next year we'll definitely hook her up with a blotch. Beautiful, beautiful animal. Now we'll take a look at some grow outs that I produced that I'm absolutely obsessed with. This is Killshot. This is one of my holdbacks. Oh, I love, love, love this boy. This is one of my orange 6 stripes. I've not given this girl a name yet, but God, she's gorgeous. This is a full sibling to the one I just showed you. Another beautiful 6-stripe orange. This little one is actually one of Saffron's offspring. This one's name is Suicide. Ooh, I love this animal. And this is Gutted. This one is actually a full sibling to Suicide, who I just showed you. Gutted is just amazing. This is another one that's looking to be female, so I'll have a ton of females. Now let's just take a quick little look at some of my favorite hatchlings from the last couple of months. This is one of my Bloody Mary kids. Anything that's a Bloody Mary kid is going to be incredible. These animals always have so much color. This is one of my little blotched babies. They're so cute when they're little. And this is the wreckage baby I was saying I absolutely love. It's probably my favorite one this season. All that color is just incredible. And this is another Bloody Mary baby. And this one will probably have a red base. But look at all that color. There is one of my little crested gecko babies that I love. These were produced by Shiva, which is a female I picked up from Rockstar Geckos. And I'm just loving everything she's producing this year. These Says Aunts and Kruger babies are also one of my favorites. Kruger is an extreme and Seance is a Halloween, so I'm hoping these babies are going to be a good mix of both. Alright guys, so out here is my absolute favorite place to be at my house. Morning coffee is just so serene out here. Is with my tortoises. This pen's probably about 4 years old, so I'm constantly updating and improving it. This house is brand new. I just worked on this the last few months. I still have a long way to go. Right there is where their old house used to be, so I'm going to do a lot of more planting there so that we can fill it in. These flowers over here were doing amazing, but they got tall, so with the tortoises they absolutely trampled everything. So hopefully they'll come back next year though, because they really enjoyed hanging out in there. They have a ramp, and they actually love this ramp, but it's under construction. As you can see, I've started taking it apart. The wood is starting to bow, and that plywood is really, really cheap and thin. So since I bought better plywood for the big house, I'm going to use what's left over to redo the ramp. Plus, I think I'm going to like curve it down that way, so they still have all this space here to kind of walk around. Down here we have Winnie. Winnie was actually sold to me as a cherry head as a baby, and I didn't know the difference. So, voila, we actually have a redfoot, not a cherry head. And then these guys are our cherry heads. I bought both of these. I don't even remember who I got them from years and years ago. But this is Pooh. Hi, Poo Poos. He's very, very sweet. And that other one right there is Piglet, and she thinks my finger is food, so she's getting excited. But they're both very, very sweet babies. This little 75-gallon tank that my skink used to be in, and now it's got the 2 little box turtles that I hatched almost 2 years ago, I think. But this is Harold. These guys were accidentally dug up by my neighbor, their nest, when she was gardening, and there was only a few eggs that didn't have cracks in them from her shovel. She actually thought they were snake eggs, and she called me over to see if I could save them. And so we incubated them, and these 2 little ones popped out. So they have been in the indoor tortoise pen for quite a while. And this year I brought them out for the first time so they could start getting some fresh sunshine. And then over here we have this little cat house that I bought a few years back. And I converted it into 2 parts. So I put this plywood here because that was all open. And then they've got some little extra things in here. I haven't done a ton of work with this. This is more just a outside little enclosure for them. And then we have, hi Allie. No, you don't be mean. You won't be mean. Bearded dragons always get a little spooked when they're outside. Allie's still very sweet. She knows I won't hurt her. And that might be Big Al. We're still not sure. I've never actually checked. And then down here is Peanut, who is our super mean bearded dragon that always mouth gapes at me. And she's just awful, but we still love her, and since we took her on, I guess she's our responsibility. She gets to live her best life like everybody else. So that's pretty much everything we got going on out here. It's always under construction. I am always trying to improve what we got going on out here. I'm a big fan of letting, especially my diurnal species, have regular sunlight, natural sunlight for these animals. I'm not even that big on UVB. Also in the works of building something for my 2 leopard geckos, an artificial just so that they can come out occasionally and get things done in the summer like everybody else. Sun, and they're not. I think even the best light is so much better. Overdo it, we can underdo it. Artificial animals still get NVD. I've even seen plenty of artificial light, so I love being able to give the entire time, especially my diurnal species, the opportunity to get regular sunlight. I am right now in the process. So that's pretty much everything we got going on out here. It's always under construction. I'm always trying to improve and upgrade out here so that the animals to have a little summer sunshine. Living out here. So anyways, it's beautiful out here. I love being out here. My morning coffee, natural sunlight for these animals. I'm not even that big on UVB. Of course, if they need. And this little part rodent right here that is licking his arse on my bed. Gross. This is Coco Dog. This is Mommy's sweet puppy dog. And if it was up to him, he would just crawl in Mommy's skin and be a part of her all the time. So he is obsessed with his mommy. Yes, him is obsessed with his mommy. I will never have another tiny dog. They are so needy. And they yap at everything, and they whine, and they shake, and everything's so dramatic. But I love this little guy. Yeesh. But after you, I will probably not have another little dog. This is the morning kitty swarm. They know it's feeding time. So this is my bestest favorite cat in the whole wide world, Bobbers. This is his mom, Callie Q. They're all very old. Callie's like 16, Bob is 15, and this is Bob's sister, Baby Cat. She's a big fat loaf of a cat. She's about 15 too. My babies, my meow meows. And this right here is the most loved puppy dog. Here's just Karma Dog. She's our shelter dog we got about 12 years ago. She's a great dog. Aren't you, Karma Dog? Okay, jealous. Okay, jealous. Oh no, him takes all your lovin's. Terriers really are amazing dogs. And she is. And who is this? Millie Moo Moos? Little fat fats? Who's the fattest of all fatters? Yes, for is. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I certainly enjoyed making it. Hopefully I will see everyone next Friday when I drop the next video. Remember, if you did like it, please like and please subscribe. I would love to hear in the comments what you thought. Hopefully you enjoyed everything. Thanks again for watching, everyone.